G'day and welcome to Aussievision. Today we are previewing the final of Benidorm Fest, Spain's national final. I have the wonderful Mark and Liv with us today, and we're going to run through some of the front runners in quite a kind of maybe open field compared to some previous years. But let's start, everyone, on St. Pedro. Is a lot of love going into today's semi-final. Did well, won the semi, won the jury quite comfortably. A bit of a different song in this mix. Mark, what are you thinking about this?
I would go so far, Dale, as to say probably will win the whole thing. I know I'm probably meant to keep that to the end, but I think at this stage it's the front runner for the whole competition. Look, it's really classical and it's something that probably speaks to sort of Spanish music tradition, but also the sorts of Spanish music tradition that people outside of Spain really connect with. It's sort of full of nostalgia and romanticism, and I think that's the strength that it brings. Do I think the staging and the package as it was presented today is ready and raring for Eurovision? No, but we all know that's okay. If it gets the ticket, it will grow and change between now and May. But I think at this stage, it's probably a neck in front of the rest.
How about you, Liv?
Yeah, I really love this. I mean, it's paired back. I found it interesting because I feel like there's two ways you could have staged this. You could have gone like the Marco Mengoni route of just kind of like standing there and like looking down the camera, or you could have some random silhouetted ladies in the background for some reason. But like with some improvements, I do think this could do all right at Eurovision potentially. It's a bit of a wild card kind of entry because it is very much harking back to things, but I don't think it's woefully dated either. Like I think it's just nice. It sits very nicely. It reminds me a bit of Almeno Pensami by Ron from Sanremo from 2018, which is probably like two people who are listening to this who actually remember that entry. But it feels like one of those type of Sanremo entries that are just so lovely and paired back, and it just like really hits the soul. And yeah, I really love this.
Yeah, this had the potential to. I think in the studio there was a little bit of like, I'll take you to your table, sir and madam, restaurant, cafe, background music vibes, because it's beautiful, but it could be quite background music-y. And I think he really commands the stage. Look, aesthetically, it's very pleasing, and that definitely helps. But he commands it, and he really gives it some vocal moments throughout, so you're not in that kind of flat line of the whole thing. It feels almost a bit Festival de Canção from Portugal, actually. It's really interesting. And I think its big strength is in this lineup of 8 songs. It really stands out because everything else is big and bold, and the jury scores are so big that I have to agree with you, Mark. It's very hard to see this being beaten because I don't think it'll win the public on demoscopic, but the juries are going to go really big for it. I worry in a 26 lineup at Eurovision about it could be the toilet break song or it could be the loved Salvador-esque type thing, and I just don't know where that fits. And the silhouettes, yeah, not sure about that one, but it's a great package. Can anyone beat it? The winner of the first semi-final. This could not be more different in its approach. Nebulossa with Zora, Liv. Does this have any chance? What do you think of this?
I mean, like 5, 6, 7, 8. This girl, like, holy, I love it. I love absolutely everything about it. Like, obviously, she's not gonna like Chanel, like bounce around the stage like a bean. So they had to do something a bit different. I feel like the staging is really compelling, considering like most of the time she's kind of just standing there and like swaying from side to side, right? What are the juries seeing here? Like for real, like what is going on? I'm not really like disappointed though, because I kind of stand it, and I was like absolutely gagged, like it's a muffquake. But like, is this winning? No, surely not. Absolutely not. But I love it anyway.
Mark, your thoughts?
Well, I do. I love the sort of grand dame energy of it. I think that this is probably someone, and forgive me, viewers, I haven't done the research, who commands a great deal of respect in the Spanish community, has probably been on the stage, on the radio for some time. And so I love that they're getting this sort of recognition at Benidorm. I suspect winning the first semi may be Nebulossa's sort of prize this time around. I was really disappointed after the first semi-final, admittedly. I did not think it was as strong as the previous couple of years, and the second semi-final for me really redeemed this year's contest. So I can actually see a world where maybe the top 3 from the second semi-final could potentially fill out most of those top few spots. So Nebulossa, I think, will have some love. Obviously love from the jury and from the public, but is it going to be as much love as the likes of St. Pedro, Angy, Jorge with Caliente? I don't know. So I think maybe we'll see it middling of the pack at the end.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. And look, I love this. This is right up my alley because it reminds me of some act that comes on at a gay club at 1 a.m., which pretty much is Benidorm Fest anyway. So no wonder everyone's singing along with it. Brilliant, amazing, fun. Vocal is barely there. How that won the jury, I agree with you, Liv. That was the most stunning result of the whole thing. I'm glad she's there. I think it's going to end up being midfield in the end, even though surprisingly it's second the odds. I'm very surprised by that. Surely the juries will have a recalibration of where she should actually be there. Let's go on to another favorite amongst a lot of the men in the audience, Jorge, and probably a lot of the three women there as well. Jorge Gonzales. That was quite a performance with Caliente, wasn't it, Mark? What do you think?
Well, I don't think that you will mind, Dale, with me sharing that you sent us a message earlier today where you said that you caught Jorge's performance on the bus this morning, and I wasn't watching live. So when you sent that message, I had envisaged that Jorge was performing Caliente on a bus. And so it did not fit my vision of what Caliente was going to be. And so I was very happily surprised, actually, when I saw the live performance and there was no vehicle in sight. Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to be sort of a lowest common denominator gay, but I think I probably will revert to that in this instance. It's extraordinarily hot. Like, it's so well staged. It's so sexy. It's kind of, there's a sort of a darkness, slickness, and a sort of a fashion to it too. Those beautiful lace appliques across his body while he's performing, and a very traditional sort of Spanish pop sound. And sort of odes to traditional Spanish culture with that sort of paso doble arch and gesture. So I don't know. For me, going in, I really dismissed this as really a lightweight song that lacked a bit of guts. But the package is so extraordinary. I just think it would be silly not to send this. I mean, Slow Mo did so well, and in so many ways, this fits the Slow Mo mold. I really think that this probably would be Spain's best bet to send.
Liv?
Well, as someone who's not from the target demographic, this didn't really do it for me. I'm sorry. I love the outfit. I can say slay for that. But otherwise, I found the whole performance really disjointed. It is rare to see males do a full bop with choreography. So absolute kudos to him. And I think there's moments that I'm like, yeah, you got it. And then there's other bits that I'm just like, I don't know. Out of the male bops this year, this one was not, I don't think, even in my top 2. I think it was about 3rd or something. So the song doesn't really do it for me, unfortunately. I'm not a target market. It was a bit of a, sorry, no thanks.
This is why we have diversity, right? So we can hear this because you're going to be outvoted because I loved it, but it was my 12 points going in. And look, I love a good bop. It's fun. And the thing is, I do agree. Of course, I can agree with Mark on this one, but no, there was a bit more to it. And you know what? I actually just wish, and I hope he tries to change it because he's got no hope otherwise, that that last note he hits is extraordinary. And I really wish in that last 30 to 40 seconds, because I do agree with you, Liv, there's parts that just feels like he's just standing around. And I'm like, hit a note, do something, because you can sing. You can obviously sing really well. Add some flourishes. Give the jury something to give you points, because you really struggle. You've got no chance unless you get more jury score on this. But out of all the songs in this lineup, the only ones I can see getting points at Eurovision is St. Pedro, which will get, I think, jury, and maybe the televote might love it. This will get televote points. You will not forget it. It won't be everyone's target demographic, but there'll be a whole lot of people who will vote for this purely just on the amazing visual and the package they put together, which is a bit of a theme of Benidorm Fest this year. Maybe a bit of visual over style over substance in some ways. But I don't know. Do you think he can actually have a chance of winning just really quickly? Mark, Liv, can he win?
Look, I don't know if mathematically, I just don't know if it's possible, but I do think that the juries, I think there's going to be some movement in the jury scores. And I would hate to suggest that that's for any reason other than their thoughts on the performances, but the way the crowd in that auditorium turns on that jury, and Beatriz, the jury forewoman, almost looks like someone's holding a gun to her head when she's reading those scores because she's so fearful of what the public backlash is going to be. It would not shock me if, upon reconsideration, Jorge sneaks up a little higher than third last, certainly in their estimation.
Liv, anything? Do you think it has a chance?
No, I don't think in the general Spanish public it's got enough momentum in terms of streams and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it's quite going to make it to number one.
All right, let's talk about Angy now. Now, there's a lot of love in the fandom for this. We haven't finished our Aussievision ranks for the live, but I can say this is doing very well at the moment. It seems like this is the song everyone agrees on, but not everyone's favorite necessarily, and it's struggling in the odds to win. But hey, Liv, you're a big fan of this, aren't you?
I'm a massive fan. That studio had me absolutely by the throat, honestly. And then there's obviously some technical sound issue stuff going on with the national final, so that's fine. But the staging as a whole, it's really hard to get a rock song with a super duper compelling staging, and she's got that. She's got a full story. She's got a whole like dictionary of like ideas in there. Perhaps maybe cut one or two of them out, but I think if you tighten up the camera issues and fix the sound, she's got that star quality. Like, go listen to her other discography. She's been around like for donkey's years. Like, she reminds me a bit of Hayley Williams from Paramore. Like, she's just got that it factor. I think this song fits enough boxes for everybody and is different enough to really elevate and probably get some momentum and honestly take the whole thing out. And I personally think this is also the best option for Eurovision.
I can't wait to comment on that. Mark?
Look, I think that if something's going to upset St. Pedro at this point, it's probably going to be Angy, because I think she could potentially sort of split the middle between the public and demoscopic vote, whatever on earth the demoscopic vote it is, which we suspect, or at least I do, Jorge will do very well in. And then St. Pedro will clean up the juries. If there's someone who gets enough votes from both directions, it's probably going to be Angy. Coming into the contest, this was probably my second favorite. I just thought the staging was really a bit of a mess, frankly. But that was indicative of most acts on the first night. There's just too much on stage. There's too many beats to hit, and it showed because there were missed camera angles, and we saw a fair bit of her back, which I don't think was intentional. Look, the song just feels a little dated to me at the end of the day. As much as I like it, it feels like it's 10 years old, 15 years old, perhaps when Paramore were at their peak, which is probably the sound that I liken it to the most as well. So, like her, glad she's got the support of the Spanish public. Might split the difference, but it wouldn't be my choice.
Yeah, maybe there's a demographic thing going on here, because I feel like this is super dated, because there's a difference with dated and retro. This is early 2010s Eurovision, and it didn't do well then. And it's not going to do well now. This would be bottom 3 at Eurovision if it got through, and it barely get a vote, because everyone would like it. No one's going to vote for it. It's not going to be in people's 10s. I think she does a great job of it. Pure respect. I think you should have won the jury in that first semi of this kind of national final. But overall, a song doesn't do it for me. Not my genre, not my style. And it's proving it in the results so far and in the odds. So we'll see what happens. I think this is actually going to do, I don't know, 5th, 6th in the end. I don't think it'll do that well. But anyway, that's why we disagree and we agree. We have balance here. All right, so we've got 4 other songs there. And when we spoke beforehand about what should we talk about, we all wanted to talk about Maria. It's all about Maria. Mark, start us off with her.
Look, I think we had a very similar conversation last year where I sort of found out over Blanca Paloma and both the flamenco style of that entry and the staging. Well, this was like Blanca Paloma kind of grown up in many ways. I love the for a start, the choreography in this production number was just outstanding. So congratulations to whoever was behind it. Modern and creative and moving. And Maria just delivers that sort of robust and muscular flamenco performance that you expect from a performer like her. I think it's got next to no hope, sadly, largely because of Blanca Paloma's fate last year. I suspect maybe the Spaniards, whether that's jury or public, will go, that didn't work for us. Let's go in a different direction this time around. But yeah, really, really enjoyed that performance. And I hope they keep putting stuff like this on the Benidorm stage. I'm sure they will. It's part of their cultural heritage, but it's what does it for me. I love the passion and the intensity.
Liv, you like this as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's always a place, right, for these traditional modern infusion kind of songs, and exactly the same as pretty much everything Mark said, which is that I love it, but because of how Blanca did last year, I just would be like, absolutely, just don't pick it. Let's just go 180 and try something new, right? I just wanted to like, I don't know, like Spanish slap me or something. Like there's some real power and it makes me feel real good. And basically, I think she has the best vocals of this national final, like straight up. So from that point of view, you're a winner, babe.
Yeah, it feels like we agree on St. Pedro in this song, which are the two more traditional ones, right? The way she just came out and just kicked it in the, wherever. And then midway through, I felt it was getting a bit like, yeah, I've heard this flamenco stuff before. And there was that moment when the dancers came around her and that was just like, holy moly. And then it went full on and it almost went into this lovely melodic, almost Almodovar kind of like soundtrack kind of at the end. I just loved every moment of it. But please don't send it anywhere near Eurovision. Keep it in Benidorm. It's meant to be a song festival showing off Spanish music, a little like they were trying to do with Sanremo. This is the pure art in the whole lot, but don't send it to Eurovision. Quickly, Sofia Coll. I really like this, but I feel like her vocal kind of wasn't there. And if she's stronger, she could do a little bit better. What do you think about this, Liv?
I have not really liked this from the start because I just find the tune a bit like, yeah, whatever, because it doesn't really commit to like having a good drop. It doesn't really commit to being a really, really upbeat dance number. It's sort of in the middle of pop and kind of is a bit meh for me. The English section makes me actually like cringe. And I don't know if that's because we are native English speakers. It's literally just like, oh, Jesus Christ. But anyway, I do appreciate the stage show though. Great dancing. Nice little prop thing, but otherwise, no, thank you.
What about you, Mark? Did you like it?
Everything Liv said, but I would invert it actually. I love this song. I love this song so much. The spoken word interlude before the first chorus will be the thing I remember from this whole Eurovision preseason. For those of you who don't speak Spanish,
I love that.
It's so iconic. It's brilliant. It's such a shame that it's been let down by its staging, which does not marry with the theme or mood of the song. She's gone for an aesthetic which doesn't really seem to fit for me, that sort of gay anthem, which it had every potential to become. So it's my biggest disappointment of Benidorm.
I quite love the stage. She's down the stairs, she's up the stairs, she's hat off, she's reveal. Just vocal could be better. All right, you've one song each. I'm going to start Miss Caffeina with Blah, Blah, Blah. Mark, tell me what you think about this.
Look, watching on the first night, I was not shocked to see it do well with the jury because I thought it was the cleanest, neatest, tidiest staging. It had a really clear visual identity, which took it from a song I didn't really care for to a song that I at least watched with interest. But I think it's probably going to come close to square last.
And Liv, Almacor was one of the favorites going in, won the press ball. A lot of staging going on. Vocal, interesting. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's one of those hard like male pop songs to really pull off live, right? So if you get it right, it's like, oh yeah. If you get it wrong, it's kind of like, all right. But overall, I do appreciate the whole vibe, and it did take me a minute to work out how they were doing the visuals. And I was like, oh, the pre-recorded bits are the best looking bits. Like, oh, that makes sense now. And then there was like a section at the end where there was so much pyro, and he's wearing like so much synthetic material. I was like, oh my god, bro's gonna like die on stage, and I'm gonna witness it. Like, I'm scared. So overall, of the male box, it's actually probably my favorite that made it to the final. But I definitely, yeah. Well, look, this is definitely I'm straight. I'm too straight for this. That's the problem. So it is my favorite of the male box that made it to the final.
Fair enough. All right. Well, last thing, I think we all know what we're probably going to say here, but final thing, who's going to win, and any other quick thought with that as well? Mark, who's going to win?
St. Pedro's going to take the crown and go to Eurovision, and he's going to do well at Eurovision. I think it could be a Salvador type of moment and finish in the top half.
Liv?
Angy is going to fix every problem from the semi-final. She's going to make everyone love a throwback. She's going to make everyone love it, and she's going to take it. She's going to go for it.
Delusional, but the winner will be St. Pedro. It will win the jury. It will lose the demoscopic and the public to Jorge, but it'll win overall probably quite comfortably, which will be a bit of a shame, I think, in the end. But hey, no, I do love it. I do love it. It's good. Just want Jorge to go. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I love the mix of opinions. I really, really do. And we'll see who wins on Sunday. Other than that, see you later. Adios. Bye.
Bye.